Hey, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another deck profile. It's been a little while since I brought you guys one of my own deck profiles, and I want to bring you guys some set 6 deck profiles, but kind of in the meantime, since like the format's been going on for about a month now, a little bit longer than a month, and since we're so close to set 6 coming out, I've been just doing some fun deck profiles and, trying to see what I can have a good time with, trying to see how creative I could be within the current format and see what I can, kind of perform well with at locals, because there are no big events that I'm going to until the celebrations in Chicago in March, at the end of March. If you guys are going to Chicago, definitely come see me, come hit me up, come say hi, come tell me about the channel, tell me about how you're doing. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you guys. I want to see you guys. But yeah, with that being said, this is just something that I've been playing lately at locals, and it's been a lot of fun. Kind of a way to revitalize the veggie package, just breathe some fresh air into it. But before we get into this deck profile, guys, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button and hitting the notification bell so you guys can stay up to date with all the awesome Dragon Ball Super content I post here about 5 days a week, sometimes 6, sometimes 7. If you guys are looking for a Dragon Ball Super community group just to get in touch with, talk about your decks, get advice in the game, things like that, we have a super active Discord community down in the description below. Awesome group of people. Anytime anyone has a question, they're always there to answer it. And if you guys are longtime fans of the channel or want to read up on some more competitive content, definitely check out the description below for my Patreon link. It helps me a lot, helps bring you guys this content you guys know and love. And there's a lot of competitive content, as I said before. If you're looking to become better at your locals, get better at your locals, or go to a premier event, all that stuff down there is for you. So check that out. With that being said, we will get into this deck profile. So we've got a set 1 leader here, believe it or not, to play the veggie package. This is something that I've always been a big fan of this leader. I actually played a Vados Veggie deck back in set 3 after Mecha got nerfed, because it was kind of just something I wanted to tool around with. I was playing like the Broly packages back in that day, where you could actually reliably get to a later turn and drop the 6-drop. But today's day and age, I mean, we have the red veggie package. It's a lot better. There are a lot better red cards to just play in general. So a couple reasons to play the Vados leader. One of the reasons to play this leader in its own little vacuum is that it can attack active battle mode cards. So what does this do for you? It lets you answer a few annoying things in the format. One of those being Crisis Crusher Son Goku. The other one being striving to be the best Son Goku, which aren't the worst things for this deck to face down, but they can be annoying, especially because of the way I built the deck. I built the deck to kind of take advantage of Vados and the fact that Vados can answer those things. It is a draw 2 leader on Awaken, which we don't see a whole lot of in the current format. Pretty much everything is either Wish, pretty much that's only Shenron, or you have your untapped 2, kind of big tempo turn leaders, Hirudegarn, you've got Pan, things like that. We're not really seeing a whole lot of draw 2 leaders in the format because you don't get those big tempo swings, especially in a green-red Christmas deck. You don't really get a lot of big tempo turns through your leader Awaken, but you do get big tempo turns through your battle cards, which makes up for that. So I wanted to play this leader because it does have a high utility. So real quick, if you guys don't know what it does, we'll go over it. Permanent on both sides. This card can attack active battle mode cards. Vados, when she awakens at 4 life, she draws 2 cards. So she doesn't get you any advantage on the front side, which we're getting into a little bit of nitty gritty here, which I know you guys like. So she doesn't gain any advantage on the front side. So that's why we run 8 Self-Awakeners in the deck, which I'll get to a little bit later. It's really important that we flip over on our own terms. We don't get stalled out. So on the back, she becomes Aid Vados. Again, she can attack active battle mode cards. When she does attack, she draws 1 no matter what she attacks at. And if she does attack a battle card, it gains plus 5k for the duration of the turn. So pretty powerful effect. Just that if you're attacking a battle card trying to clear back your opponent's board, you get a free 5k boost for no reason, even if it's a rest mode card, which was actually relevant for me the other day at locals. I was playing against my friend's mono blue Iron Val Trunks deck, and he was just dropping Vegitos on Vegitos on Vegitos, and this thing being able to pressure a Vegito without even having to combo was really valuable. It was really high value, really high impact, which is very, very cool. Another thing to note is on the Awaken side, it can actually answer Son Goku Path to Greatness on its own, because it is a 20k swinger at a 19k battle card. Pretty relevant. This leader gives you a good amount of relevance in meta matchups, which is really cool. I want to put fun decks together, but I don't want to just go to locals and get stomped, right? When I put a fun deck together, or like something that's a little less seen, there's pretty much purpose behind everything I'm playing, and I'm going to go into that once we get into the main deck here. So we've got 4 Overrealm slots, which might seem like a lot, but this is for a few reasons. One of which, Janemba is obviously very prevalent in the format, so you want to be able to put free pressure on essentially and abuse Overrealms every single turn. I was playing Mirror Creator Absorbed here for the Janemba matchup, but it was just a little too clunky on 10k combos between there were 6 in the deck at that point. And this deck does tap out a lot for its big plays, and that's one of the great reasons why we have a free negate that I'll talk about later. But yeah, we wanted the 4 Overrealm slots because they are high utility, and against Janemba they're very good, especially Dimensional Banisher is really good in the format, removing the baby ape, just removing threats off the board, pesky blockers, things like that. And Scientist Food is one of the best cards in the game. This deck doesn't have too much of a problem with hand size. You'll probably sit around the 10 card hand pretty much all the time. But Scientist Food, being able to just keep your hand up and put pressure on, which, you know, this is at the end of the day, this is an aggro deck, so you do want to be able to put that pressure on. So it's pretty solid for that regard. These 4 overwhelm slots really, really good. I do side deck the 5-drop Mass Sand, so definitely consider that. If you think that that's more vital at your local scene, definitely consider main decking that card. But really been happy with these 2 cards at the moment. 4 Trunks Bridge to the Future. This card, if you guys have heard previous deck profiles of mine, I'm not in love with this card, but it is a search card. Since we're not playing yellow in the deck, we can't play Planet Vegeta, so this is like the next best thing for trying to hit Kabas if we don't hit them early. We can occasionally hit the newfound powers from Gohan if we need to awaken, things like that. It does search the majority of the deck for whatever we need. Sometimes you do actually need the impeccable Super Saiyan Kaba in certain instances, but it's green energy. It's not bad. Newfound powers from Gohan. This is one of the reasons that I really like this leader, because the 1-drop crit attackers, even Saiyan Kaba, the 1-drop double strike attacker, lose a whole lot of value in this current format because Shenron is pretty popular and Crisis Crusher Son Goku is a main deck staple of that deck. And these 1-drop attackers just really, you don't want to play this down when you know your opponent's going to just play Crisis Crusher and halt their attacks or just blow them up. But since Vados answers Crisis Crusher inherently, this newfound power Son Gohan actually puts in a whole lot of work. It allows you to help yourself awaken. It swings for crit, which is always amazing. One of my best plays against Janemba, actually, which I did face at locals this past weekend. When you attack with the newfound power Son Gohan, even turn 2, like I'll wait a turn to summon the Kaba, because getting that crit damage off is so important that I'll drop a double strike Kai on it and just go for a 25 double strike crit on turn 2. And especially if I went first, that's really, really hard for them to defend with 1 energy. You know, they can drop an Unbreakable to go to 20 and draw a card, but if they want to combo out of the rest of it, they still have to waste 2 cards. So really, really good in the early turns. And yeah, really, really brought me success against Janemba this past weekend. Then we have your main veggie package, your 4 Saiyan Teamwork Kaba, your 4 Caulifla, your 4 Hidden Awakening Kale, just a green engine to start off with. Kaba is obviously the workhorse of the deck, absolutely incredible card. Then you have your, Caulifla. You don't want to go into this one too much, although since it's leader, you do need to awaken on your own terms. You do go into this one more than you do in typical other veggie decks. And the Hidden Awakening Kale, we don't go into too much. I can see cutting it down, but it's just a consistency card and another green card that we do end up charging for Kaba. You really want to hit, Kaba in your opening hand with 2 greens to charge, because you don't want to get slowed down. In most matchups, you do want to drop Kaba on turn 2 and just go as wide as possible. But Kale's good for when you do get low on hand size, when you need to make up cards back. And again, if you're dropping Kale for cheap with multiple Kabas on the board, dropping the Hidden Power E Supreme Kai is really good on Kale, obviously, for a 30k double strike crit. And so so I talked about the reasons that this can attack active battle modes as being one of the reasons to play Vados. The other reason to play Vados is definitely Elegant Assistance Hellas. So this is a super combo specific to gods. It's basically a Hoi super combo. When you super combo with it, you can discard a card and draw 1. Oh, sorry, draw 2. This is another great reason to play Vados. So that's 2 reasons: attacking active battle modes to clear pesky threats, and having access to this super combo is really powerful. If I have a dead Scientist Fu in my hand or a dead double strike Kai in my hand that I can't combo with because I don't have the appropriate energy because I tapped out on my turn, this just turns those into new cards, or a dead negate, let's just say. Anything like that, really, really good. Then we have Afterimage Technique. Afterimage Technique is the 3rd reason to play this leader, or just a red leader in general, with the veggie package. We had the acting battle modes, we had the Hellas super combo, and Afterimage Technique. Afterimage Technique is so good. In my opinion, it's fighting for that best negate spot in the format right now. It's so strong. That's why I love the Baby Vegeta deck as well. Just having that powerful negate. So many instances, this is a 2-for-1 negate. I was talking a little bit about that example where I was playing against a friend of mine at locals, and he was playing his mono blue deck, and he was trying to drop multiple Vegetos on me. One turn, he did have 2 Vegetos on the board. He attacked with his leader. I afterimaged and decreased one of the Vegetos, because Vegito doesn't have barrier until it gets into rest mode with a blue leader. And then he attacked with his bigger Vegito, and I afterimaged again and killed the Vegito. So I plus cards because I've taken my life to afterimage him, and then I was able to clear a threat that I didn't have to deal with on my own turn, which is really, really solid. This card is a 2-for-1 in so many instances. It's absolutely amazing. 4 Dauntless Kale. This is something that a lot of veggie packages aren't really teching or playing nowadays, but I do want that extra defense because you do tap out a lot, like I said, and just being able to cast down that free blocker is really, really powerful. Not a whole lot of decks in the format have removal. A lot of decks do text Dimensional Banisher Fu, but if they're wasting it on a blocker and not the rest of my board, as long as I'm not in lethal range, I'm okay with that. And, you know, Baby Vegeta is pretty popular and does have removal, but that's just not the matchup you play this in. You know, you're playing it down more for, like, your Shenron matchups and things like that. So, really good card. Pretty valuable. Sometimes you can put pressure on with it if you need to. Sister Attack Kale, workhorse of the deck. You want to do everything you can to try and save these cards from dying. It can be a little tough when your opponent's attacking it with a 15k or higher battle card, but if you have super combos to protect it, or even if you have to take a -1 to protect it, even if this thing's in rest mode and your opponent's 10k leader attacks it, let's just say you have to give up like a Newfound Power and go on from your hand, or a Trunks Bridge to the future with your hand. That's okay, because if this thing survives a turn, it's going to make that card back up anyway, and you get to see a new card. So if you think about it kind of logically, your threat lived, and you're essentially turning one of these 2 dead cards in your hand into a fresh new card that you can see and play with. So it kind of works out like that. It's really, really good. 2 Hidden Power E Supreme Kai. This is really good because this deck kind of lacks finishers. You know, it puts a lot of pressure on, goes really, really wide. Like, it was so typical that I had, like, you know, double Kaba, 2 different Cleefless on the board, multiple Sister Attack Kales. But, you know, you can attack all you want, but you need to have some type of way to get Double Strike through. And our Overwhelms do have it, but we don't always see our Overwhelms. And like I said before, sometimes we do want to go for a Double Strike crit. So Hidden Power E Supreme Kai is really good for that reason. This one is like slightly better than Champa in this deck, just because you can summon it if you absolutely need to. It's a situation that never really comes up, but I mean, it's just, I like Hidden Power E Supreme Kai, so I play in this deck for that reason. Impeccable Super Saiyan Kaba as a 4 of. Not as vital in this deck as it is in a lot of other decks. This is something that Veggie decks play at 4 to answer Striving, because if you get Striving, you can't attack with your Sister Attack Kales that gain you advantage. You can't attack with your you know, 20k Cauliflas, which is a big beater, and you can't attack with your Kabas for free pressure. So still a 4 of in this deck, because I do side deck actually the 5-drop Vegeta that I'll pull up on the screen here. Actually, it's a really cool tech card. I sided for the Gemma matchup, and it actually won me the game against Gemma this past weekend at locals. And you know, the fact that it can't be negated is really good. Pair that with a double strike, it can win you the game for the most part. So good 4 of. I don't mind it at 4. And then of course Bold Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla, the card that came in and kind of revolutionized Veggies. You know, gave them the ability to go even wider. 2 energy Kaba turns into what? 2 energy, 6 energy, and 8 energy worth of battle cards. You know, if you hit all properly, which you don't really have a problem missing in your deck, your Kaba is almost always going to hit a Caulifla between 8 of them, and your Caulifla is almost always going to hit a target between 8, or actually, sorry, 12 in this deck, because you do have the Dauntless Kales. You don't want to hit your Dauntless Kales, really. You want to just kind of have them in your hand and plow them down, but you do have 8 solid attacking options with those cards. So overall, comprehensively, that's the deck. I mean, it's really fun. I suggest trying it out at your locals if you're looking for something just kind of fresh to play. If you miss Veggies, you don't want to play Shenron Veggies, you don't want to play Broly Veggies, you don't want to get you know, beat out by Cronoa, you don't want to get beat out by Black Mass Sand, try this deck out. It doesn't have a lot of like hard counters outside of like Kami, which not a lot of people are playing right now. It's really fun. Hellas is a good card, After Image is a good card, the Vados Leader is generally just kind of good. It doesn't let your opponent kind of just protect things by keeping them in active mode. And even though we are playing Veggies, Kale is not the workhorse it used to be. It's very, very energy heavy, kind of inefficient unless you have multiple Kabas established. So yeah, just all things to consider. I hope, like, you know, the in-depth analysis was kind of good for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That is the deck profile. If you guys have any questions about the deck, definitely leave it down in the comments below. I'll definitely get to them. You know, any suggestions you guys have for the deck, definitely open to that as well. Anything you guys would change, let me know that too. One quick note, guys, I am starting YouTube channel memberships, which is a service through YouTube that's going to allow you guys to basically, you know, subscribe to the channel at a paid rate, which is going to be really cool because you guys will get special badges, special emojis you guys can use on the comment sections, and there are going to be perks for that as well. We're going to do monthly live streams with the YouTube channel members so that, you know, we can just go over deck tech. We can build decks, we can talk about the meta, we can talk about the game. It'll be kind of like a personalized podcast in a sense for you guys, which would be really, really cool. If you guys don't like Patreon or don't want to, you know, get signed up on Patreon, you guys are already here on YouTube. If you want to help me out, if you really like the channel, you know, it'll mean a lot to me. It'll mean a real lot to me to actually help me out a lot, and it'll just keep allowing me to do this thing that I love, bring you guys Dragon Ball Super content. So guys, with that little note being said, check out for that. Should be up in the next week or so. With that being said, my name is Joey. This is Crossroad TCG. I hope you guys enjoyed this fun deck. Try it at your locals. Let me know how you do, and I'll see you guys next time. You actually sat through all of that and made it to the end? I don't know how you did it, but now that you're here, you might as well hit the subscribe button that's right above me, or maybe check out some of these other videos. I don't know, and I guess we'll see you in the next one. I really don't know how you did it, but good on you.